Hey, what up, YouTube? It is Major G, and I know it's been a while since my last broadcast. A little more than a month, I believe. It's going on, yeah, entering the second week of February, so it's been about a month and a half since my last upload. And that's still, once again, due to me not having internet. And I the next time I will probably have internet in the foreseeable future will be once I get to Japan. And yes, I am actually still going to Japan, and I actually just booked my guest house about 2 weeks ago. Last week? No, last week. Yes, it was about last week when I booked my guest house, and I believe it's going to be in Akihabara. Is what I'm thinking. Um, I also just finally got this last week, and I actually did my passport stuff in the first the week after. Was it the week after? No, a few days after I put up my last broadcast. I believe I did it like 5 days after that. So it took me about 4 weeks to get my passport. 4 or 5 weeks. No, 4 weeks. It took me 4 weeks because I did it 7 weeks before I was leaving. Um, and let's see, anything else? Any other updates? So I actually have some kind of a. I'm actually going to do a little bit of updating, and then I will do a couple of unboxings because I still have been getting my Loot Crate anime, which I need to cancel for the next couple months. Next couple? Yeah, next couple of months. Um, let's see, anything else? Anything else? So I actually did finalize. Well, not really. I've finalized what I have a more. I have a better idea of what I'm going to be doing when I go to Japan. So for the first 3 weeks or so. So, unfortunately, I found out some bad news a few days ago, which is that they're taking down the giant Gundam. I don't know if you guys knew this, but in Japan, there's a giant Gundam. It's a life-size Gundam. It's a mock-up, I guess you would say. It's a mock-up of Amuro Ray's Gundam, the RX-78A Gundam, the original Gundam from Mobile Suit Gundam, and it's been in Japan for about 8 years, and they are taking it down on March 5th. And they're taking it down for the foreseeable future. There is a project to try and get it walking, like a 5-year plan, I think it is, to try and get it walking, and so the statue is going to be down for minimum probably about 3 to 5 years, and that's if they decide to put it back up. So yeah, that's really bad news. And then I found there's a silver lining to this, which is that I enter Japan on the 5th at about 8 o'clock. So as soon as I get off the plane it just makes me a little bit happier that I chose Haneda, the Haneda airport instead of Narita, because as you might have seen in my previous video, Haneda Airport is in downtown Tokyo. Whereas Narita, which is where most people come in and out, this is the larger airport, is actually outside of Tokyo. It's about a 45-minute trip outside of Tokyo. So I'm going to be entering Haneda, and as soon as I grab my bags, I'm going to have to hoof it over to Odaiba and try to see the Gundam. And that's the 5th is supposed to be the last day that they're showing it. I was looking at schedules for that stuff, and they say that there are evening shows for the Gundam, and then the last showing is, or the last like show, like where it lights up and does like and like fires lasers and all that stuff, is supposed to be at 11 p.m. So I should be able to get there by that time. So I'm going to try and catch video of that as well. So I'm glad I'm going to be able to, hopefully, cross my fingers. I'm glad I'll be able to see the giant Gundam, because that's one of the things I really wanted to see when I got there. So yeah, so that's that first day. First day, hop off the plane, running straight to the Gundam. Let's see, and then for the next 3 weeks, I believe it is. For the oh shoot, I just remembered. I gotta get that ticket. So for the next 2 or 3 weeks, there is just going to be kind of bumming around. I think at that point is at some point during that 2 and 3 weeks, I'm going to try and head up to Tsukuba to see to go to the Tsukuba Space Center, and I'm thinking I might not go to Shonan until probably closer to when I leave. I have to double check when that will be. I was thinking because I might no maybe I'll no because I wanted to stay in Shonan for a few days. So okay, so anyway, so for the first 3 weeks or so, I'm going to be just kind of mostly bumming around the Tokyo area. I'll probably go up to Tsukuba. That's like a day trip. Hopefully, I might be able to go over to ride the train over to Gunma. I'll probably ride the train over to Gunma and maybe spend 1 or 2 days there. Let's see. I don't know exactly when I'm going to go to Shonan. That may be one of the last things that I do is go to Shonan. But I'm also going to try and hit up Anime Tokyo. I think that's what it is. So there's an anime convention in Tokyo. There's a few of them, but this is one of them. That will be on the last weekend of March. So I will only actually be able to go to Thursday and Fridays of that. So yeah, I'll go on Thursday and Friday, and that's because on Saturday I have to head down to Osaka, and that's when I'm gonna do my traveling throughout Japan is for that week once I go to Osaka. So I actually changed my mind on this after looking through a bunch of the train schedules and time and costs and all that stuff. By the way, if you're trying to find a way to what was the name of that? What's the name of that? It was I forgot the name of it. Oh, excuse me. By the way, it took me a while to figure this out. Let's see. It took me a while to figure this out, but if you're trying to travel around Japan, there it is, and you don't necessarily want to take the just the Shinkansen, which is the bullet train. Go to Hyperdia. That is HYPERDIA dot, was that com? Yeah, hyperdia.com. And Hyperdia has you can look up how to get from one station to another, and there's a bunch of checklists and all that stuff, and you can check off the Shinkansen, you can check off night buses, all that stuff. So it's very, if you didn't know about that site, it's very, very, very difficult to find anything about trying to find prices for trains or anything like that. So Hyperdia has that talks about those prices. As does Google. You could try Google Directions and then switch to um, the public transportation setting, and that'll give you an idea of how long that'll take. That's how I found out it would only take about $6 to go down to Shonan from Tokyo. Um, so anyway, I decided that I was in fact going to get the JR pass, but for 1 week, and that's because it's pretty expensive. Traveling around Japan is very, very, very expensive. Even though the main island Honshu is probably about the size of California. It's ridiculously expensive to go from point A to point B. Just taking if you take the bullet train, you're looking at maybe about $200 to $300 from Tokyo to Fukuoka, and that's one way. If the cheapest way is to fly, but this is my first trip, and I want to actually see what Japan looks like. So maybe next time if I'm living there or whatever, once I've done all that before and like seen what Japan looks like on the ground, then I can fly. It would only take like $50, or it would only cost about $50 or so. Um, Night buses you could probably do, but I think they only have limited routes. They only have limited routes. You can only go from certain places to certain places. Um, I mean, of course, that might change depending on your proficiency in Japanese. Um, but yeah, most of us Gaijin who've never been to Japan um, aren't very good at it. Fortunately, I have some kind of proficiency, very small proficiency. But I should have no trouble personally getting around. Um, okay, and then so the reason I'm going to Osaka on that Saturday is because that is the day of Unrested's Osaka Hanami. So if you don't know this, Japan has cherry blossoms. They have these plants called cherry blossoms, and they're pretty much native to just Japan. And if you see them anywhere else, it's usually because Japan has gifted them to that other place. And in fact, the the place with the largest population of cherry blossom trees is Washington D.C. So I've seen cherry blossoms before. I've been to a cherry blossom festival because I'm from the Washington D.C. area, and I've been to their cherry blossom festival about 2 or 3 times. And the Washington D.C. one is about 3 weeks, I think. It's about a 3 week festival, and they have all sorts of Japanese things going on during that time, and it's usually around March or so. However, in Japan, they're everywhere. So pretty much every place every major city in Japan has some kind of cherry blossom something going on, and it's a pretty big deal over there. So I'm going to the YouTube Hanami hosted by Unrested in Osaka, and then the week after that, exactly a week after that, is the Tokyo YouTube Hanami, which is this year it's hosted by Phoenix787, who is a J vlogger. I've seen him a couple times, not in person. I've seen him show up in other people's J vlogs a couple times, but I'm not personally familiar with them. Apparently, previously they were hosted by Tikyo Sam, who is a bit more famous, but yeah, there's some stuff going on over there. I don't know. There's always something going on with the J vlogging community. I love them, but there's always it's like high school over there. There's always something, which you might know if you follow Akasan or Unrested, or even Victor, give me a break, man. Give me a break, man. So once I hit Osaka, I'm going to be there for probably until Sunday because Unrested's thing usually goes for until the next day. So I'll probably get a hostel in Osaka for Sunday night, and then I'm gonna try and stay in that area maybe 1 or 2 days. Maybe I can hit up Kyoto. Every time I've mentioned to any Japanese person that I'm going to Osaka for their hanami, um, they've been like, "No, you need to go to Kyoto." So I'm like, "Oh, geez, okay." Like, and this is like unanimous. Every time I mention this, they're like, "No, no, you need to go to Kyoto." I'm like, "Okay." So I'm gonna try at some point to hit up Kyoto for that. I would love to go and see the Toei studios. I don't know at this time if I will actually be able to, but it looks really cool. It looks like it would be really fun. I doubt that I'll actually be able to go to Universal Studios. The cool thing about that is that Universal Studios there is not expensive as it is here. Because over here, all of our theme parks are like $80 to $100. Over there, Universal Studios is just $60. And I hate to say it's just, but because that is kind of expensive. But compared to the U.S., that's like pocket change. Um, let's see. Anything else? I am actually gonna hit up Fukuoka during that week because I'll have a JR pass, which will allow me to travel everywhere in Japan. So during that week, I'm going to make my way south to Fukuoka so that I can hit up Ichiraku Ramen, which I'm extremely excited about. That's all I need to do while I'm in Fukuoka, basically, is just go to Ichiraku Ramen. I am going to try and do some other stuff. My mom actually got me my mom actually bought me a book. Yeah. I'm looking over here because I forgot the book at work. It came with a CD. It came with like a matching CD. Yeah, I don't know where it is. But my mom bought me this little mini book from some guy with this Smithsonian who wrote a bunch of stuff who kind of summarizes the history of Japan in this little booklet. It's very interesting. Very interesting stuff. It makes me want to stop by. I think it was Nara. If they still have that really old temple that's been around since like 600 or something. That would be really cool to stop by there. But I'm gonna try and finish that up while I'm still here or on the plane. And before I land in Haneda, I am going to be in China. So I will be in China for about 9 hours. And it will be Shanghai. That's where my layover is. 9 hour layover. So I should have time to leave the airport for a couple hours and check out China. I also was considering when I hit up Fukuoka, because I remember Akasan talking about. I was also considering checking out the ferries to Korea. And so I looked at some of those prices. Those are like $150 each way. No, that's okay. Maybe I won't go to Korea. In fact, maybe I could check out flights over there. But he said he took the ferry, which implies that it was cheaper. But that's something I may have to look at too. And that would be interesting because I don't really see myself going to Korea. But if the opportunity presents itself, I would be glad to do so. So I am intending to be back in Tokyo on the first, and that is because of the Tokyo Hanami, the YouTube Tokyo, which I am planning to be at. So once I ride, gonna be taking the Shinkansen from Tokyo to Osaka, and then from there, I'm going to be taking the little local trains. all the way down to Fukuoka, and then from Fukuoka, depending on what day it is, I may not take the Shinkansen back. Maybe I'll try and Hiroshima or Kyoto on the way back. I don't know. But once again, that really depends on how much time that I have. So on the first, I will be back in Tokyo. And my guest house stay basically goes until the 6th, I believe, 6 or 7. And from that time, I will. Oh, that actually. So here's something that's really cool. So apparently, Ghost in the Shell is going to be having a worldwide, or it's going to be releasing in Japan around the same time as it releases here. I believe it does. Yeah. Ghost in the Shell. What day does that release? What day? Oh, okay. So, okay. Actually, Ghost in the Shell is going to be releasing. What? Battle Angel is already casting? Sorry. Wow, Jennifer Connelly is going to be an Alita. This just Jennifer Connelly is going to be in Battle Angel Alita. Interesting. Jackie Earle Haley. Okay. So you got Jennifer Connelly, Jackie Earle Haley, Christoph Waltz, and Mahershala Ali are all going to be the Battle Angel Alita movie. And that's supposed to come out next year. And if you guys don't know Mahershala Ali, you guys probably remember him as Alfred Woodard's cousin or brother cousin from the first season of Luke Cage. But I remember him from the 4400. I remember him from the 4400. Which is the same show that the first Vixen was on. She was on the 4400 too. Anyway, yes. So Ghost in the Shell is supposed to be released in the US at the end of March 31st. It's also supposed to release in Japan on the 7th of April. Which may or may not be Saturday. Or Friday. Yeah, that's a Friday. Okay. So it's supposed to also release in Japan on the 7th of April. So I just tweeted Akasan. And hopefully we can all hit that up. Hit it up that weekend. Me and the Trinity. So that'd be cool. That'd be cool if we could do that. I'm not promising. I'm not saying that's going to happen. It would be nice if it did. And I will check with him to see if he would be interested in doing that. Let me think. Anything else? Probably after that point, I may head to Shonan for the weekend. Since I won't have a guest house at that time. And then I'll probably be staying in hostels and couch surfing and all that. But until the 15th. So I'm not really gonna have until the 15th. I believe it is. Yeah, the 15th is when my plane departs. So that's gonna be a really enjoyable trip. I'm looking forward to it. I'm scared at the same time because I'm bankrolling this myself. And it's my first international trip doing so. Yeah. You know, visiting another country is a whole different story from the States. I had to argue the guy from Russia on Quora I told him it's difficult. I told him it's really difficult to learn
a second language
in the U.S.
if it's not Spanish.
As long as that language is not
Spanish, it's very difficult to learn it in the U.S.
He was like, "Whoa, I'm Russian, I know German."
I'm like, Russia. And we can take weekend trips to Berlin if you want to practice. However, in the U.S., our neighboring countries, Canada, and Mexico. And only one of those doesn't speak English. So border areas where next to that you notice it because pretty much everybody in those border towns are bilingual. So yeah, totally different story. Totally different story. Till next time, I will see you guys later. And next time you see me, I will be entering Japan. Or I will be leaving the country. That will be the next time you see me. I will be leaving the country. So yeah. Till next time, I'll see you later. Sorry about my new room. It has terrible lighting. Which there's not really much I can do. I don't have a light. So yeah. He's out.
Slug in the building, yo, shall we take him? I told him up the block is the fallback. Dope fiends is dropping, crackheads bugging on Prozac. Whoa, ghetto celebs, sharks can threads. Chicks, we don't them unless we take them like 3 in the bed.
Gun in hand, making moves in Japan. Living off land, half a kilo in the closet, sitting on grams. CUB the brand, crack your shell like clams. If we don't know you, we'll blow you only f***ing with fam. Historical name, Theodore, nigga, we be the Roosevelts.